Hello again. In writing sentences today, we are going to be writing a story because we've covered enough letters. We'll be illustrating it so the pictures tell some of the bits of information. Our story is about Pam and Pops. Pops is what Pam calls her granddad. Our first word is Pam. Remember, ask somebody else to say the words and sentences to you and just pause the video. Come back to me when you've finished writing. Pam. I can hear P, and it's a name, so I write a capital P. Then I can hear A and M, so I write A and M. Pam has her wellies on. You decide what Pam looks like when you illustrate your story. Pops, that's our next word. Pops. I can hear P again at the beginning, a capital again. Then I could hear O, so I'm going to write the letter O. P is P, S is S. Pops. And we have got a capital P right at the beginning because it's a name, but we also have a lowercase letter P in this word. And Pops has his wellies on too because they're going out after it's been raining to do two things that they like to do. And that picture lets you know what one of them is. And our sentence is Pops stomps. Pops. Capital P for the beginning of a name and for the beginning of a sentence. Pops stomps. Now that's got a lot of sounds in. We'll go slowly. St is S-T. Then I could hear O, which is O. Mp is M-P. And then I could hear S at the end of the word. Stomps. And when I finished the word, I go back to cross the letter T. Pops, stomps. And the animation, I'm afraid, is taking a long time to write that cross on the letter T. Think about which punctuation you think we'll need. Definitely an exclamation mark for all that splash. It's a good job he had his wellies on. Next sentence. Pam stomps. Pam, capital again for the name and for the first letter in a sentence. Stomps. That's it. We could write it much more quickly that time. And again, it's not such a big splash, but it still needs an exclamation mark. So that's one of the things they like doing after it's been raining. Then Pam spots a pit. That's your next sentence. We can see from the picture that it's a sand pit, but our sentence is Pam spots a pit. Pause the video or work along with me. Pam, capital again for the beginning of a sentence. Pam spots. Cross the T when we finish the word. A pit. And cross the T again when the word is finished. And this was an ordinary sentence, so we just add a full stop. Pops nips into it. He's brought his bucket and spade so we can see the next activity, because wet sand is always better for making sandcastles. Pops nips into it. Pops. We're getting used to putting capital P at the beginning. Nips in and to. That's our strategy word. And then it. Now, often into is said and written as one word with no space. But because we're getting used to that strategy word to, I've split it into two words for today. And there's the bucket and spade. Pam tips. That's our next sentence. Pam tips. And I don't think that sentence will need an exclamation mark. Then Pam taps. Taps the sand down hard. Pam taps. Another sentence starting with capital P. Pam taps. Nearly exactly the same, but we had I in tips and a in taps. Did you spot that? Well done. Pops tips it onto a map. Pops has drawn a map with sand. He's got a wee loch at the corner and a drawing of trees on his map to give some scenery for Pam's sandcastle. So let's try that sentence. Pops tips it onto a map. Pops tips it. I think it'll fit nice and neatly in that space. On to a map. I think I'll need to go down a line to fit the word in. Pops tips it onto a map. And again, we would often join on and to into onto. But because it's a new strategy word, I've left them as separate words. How did you get on? That's quite a long sentence. We've got a sentence now with spaces in between the words. Think about which punctuation goes there. Tip, tap, pat. Here we go. Tip, capital T this time. And a comma in that space. Another one, and pat. Tip, tap, pat. And look what you can achieve. I think Pam and Pops had a good time. When you write your own story, you might want to change some of the bits. You've got the words from Writing Words 1, so you can swap things around to suit you. In this one, Pam stomps. Right at the beginning, she's not very happy. Then Pam spots a pit. Is it Pip? I think Pam has just spotted her friend. Pam stops. Pam nips in. Pam sits. And then together, Pip tips, Pam taps. Tap it, pat it, tip it. Stomp! I think they made a sandcastle and then stomped on it. But both of them look very happy about what they've done. You have a go at writing an emoji story. You could send it to somebody or read it to somebody. You might prefer to write a book and illustrate your booklet with your own pictures. Thank you for joining me.